Likewise, Ian's short and shorter than her. He is taller. Oh, Emma's still 6 feet. She's still leaving. She's still short. They put the new pipe right beside her.
I see the problem is, you send utility board people to the plant.
Well, they have to, well, the supervisor has to go tell them how many hours. The employees have to go.
It looks good, everybody else, no problem. No problem. But to prove that's actually
Drumming, we will. That's them with their swim coach.
Deterioration of the pipe going into the water.
She's a piece of work.
Cunningham?
Yeah.
Diane, she's good.
Yeah. She's
She's good. She loves the kid.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Would you all please stand with me for the invocation and pledge of allegiance? Councilman Rogers.
Let us pray. Our God, our Father in heaven, we thank you for this day, for all the blessings you've given to each and every one of us. We pray tonight you'll be with us and guide us as we go about the business of the city. We continue to pray for those serving the armed forces abroad and serving in harm's way. Be with them, guard them, protect them. These things we pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So tonight, before we go into the public forum and our regular agenda, I want to introduce you to someone. So Ainsley, if you'd come up, please. This is Ainsley Ovens. She is a 5th grader at Greenmont Elementary School. She's kind of a celebrity this week because she got her picture on the front page of the paper on Monday? Tuesday. Must have been Tuesday because they had the LSIC fair up at Williamstown Elementary School. And she goes to Greenmont Elementary. And last year, when we lit the big tree back in the park, she was the young lady that threw the switch to turn on the lights. And so before we got started, she asked me a question, and she kind of took me off guard. And she asked me, she said, who makes the decision of when you turn on the Christmas lights? And I looked at her and I said, well, I guess I do, but we typically do it the week before Thanksgiving because all of our guys go deer hunting, and they like to get all the lights and stuff up. So when they're gone, everything's ready. And what did you tell me?
I was wondering if we could put them up earlier so that people would be happier.
Okay. So that was what she asked me, and I thought to myself, you know what? I like happy. I like happy. So what we've done this year is I've asked Craig to get the guys up, and so we're going to put our Christmas lights up early this year. And so when you see those lights and you drive up and down Grand Central Avenue and you see the angels on the trees, you're going to know that she thinks that if we do that, you're going to be happy too. Right? So, Joe, when I see you, you better be smiling. All right? So when you see those angels, you can say, Ainsley did that. All right? Is that a deal? All right. So thank you. And now we understand why we're going to do that. So, and while she's here, her dad is Brett Ovens, who is the principal at Greenmont Elementary. And I saw a very interesting statistic the other day. Brett, tell us how they ranked your school.
Out of the state of West Virginia, 392 elementary schools, Greenmont Elementary School achieved 4th place overall on standardized test scores. So as a community, we did a really good job, so we're proud.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And if you have homework, you're excused. Or if you want to watch the West Virginia game.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm surprised, I'm shocked.
All right, this evening, under public forum, we have one person that asked to speak this evening. So, Mr. Sawson?
I heard that, make it short, huh? Henry Sasson, Greenmont Hills Drive.
Is your mic on, Henry?
Should be.
Okay, there we go.
Okay,
Gotcha.
sorry about that.
Okay.
Last week, I was hoping to be at the meeting at Jackson Park, but I wasn't because I had a business dinner that I was participating in, so when I got back, I found out I really didn't miss anything. Kind of disappointed, though. Going through as a city, I know there was a lot of hoopla at the beginning with Mansville. We had a meeting down at the Vienna Library. Real good turnout. People asked questions. But the format of the meeting that was at City Park wasn't really, from what I understand, that beneficial for people. The other thing is, if we were so proud on the front end, you would kind of figure that you would have the same type of format on the back end. By not having the local newspaper around or the Parkersburg WTAP around too, kind of asks the question, why not? So I know there was a lot of issues from beginning to end with the project and stuff like that, but if perception's reality, it sort of, smells, whether it needs to or not. So if we're gonna do stuff as a city, we ought to do it right on the front end, do it right on the back end. That's all I got, thanks.
I'd like to address that, Henry. Honestly, if you really want to know what's going on, you have to come, all right? Because the stories that you hear are not the way they should be unless you're there to see it, all right? So, I will say this to you, and then the way the format was set up for that meeting was the way the Department of Environmental Protection asked me to handle that meeting. I have an email right here from Derek Hancock, who is our DEP project manager. And so the way they asked us to do that meeting was to set up different stations so that people could come and ask questions, because there's a lot of people that don't like to speak in front of a crowd. So we did exactly what the DEP asked us to do. And as the meeting progressed, everyone that wanted to stay and ask questions got to either talk to Mr. Leach and Mr. Rebar about all the data, or they came over and spoke with myself and Mr. Thornton about the site. And we stayed until everybody that wanted to ask a question had an opportunity to do that. We had a video that was prepared that took it through the beginning steps all the way to where it is now. So you got to see a visual of what it looked like before and what it is now.
Yeah, that was a video that I think you played here.
No, it's a different one. It was a new one, but okay. Part of it was that one, but it was mostly. We had everything on hand from the repository at the library. Every application we filed, all of the scientific data, everything that anyone could want to see, we had it. And so the email that I have from Derek said it would not make any difference whether you came to Charleston or whether you did it in Vienna, West Virginia. We would have done it in exactly the same format. They like it the way it works because you get to go to whatever your interest is, ask the questions one-on-one. And Mr. Rebar and I were the last two people to walk out of the building, so there wasn't anybody that was there that didn't get an opportunity to ask a question. So from the DEP stand, we did it exactly as it should have been done. Now, I know that there was a person that stood up and started saying, hey, we don't like this and we want it done in a different manner. Well, unfortunately, we don't get to pick and choose what the DEP says. I did it exactly as I was instructed, and I will stand by that. I really don't care, because when I get instructions, I try to follow them. And as far as I'm concerned, during that meeting, only 5 people walked out. The rest of them stayed, talked, asked questions, whatever. So if that's a problem, I'm sorry, but we were prepared to answer any question or write it down and get you an answer at that meeting. As far as the press goes, we have no control over those guys. They come if they don't have anything else on their schedule, and we've advertised that 4 weeks in a row to get public, output on that thing. So, I'm sorry that you weren't able to attend because you're one of those guys that would have asked questions.
Yeah, I couldn't attend. I can kick myself, but most of these meetings unless I'm traveling.
Everything that we were instructed to do, we did it to the letter, okay? Just because someone wasn't happy with the format, I'm sorry, but you can't tell the DEP what to do. And from their response back, they've acknowledged that we did everything that we were supposed to do. So, Mr. Leach, you were there as part of it. Any comments?
Yeah, I'm going to name names. I mean, when Councilman Conley started complaining about the format of the meeting, he got up and a group of people with him decided to leave rather than to stay and participate in the meeting even after it was explained to them. So I don't have any problem at all. I felt like Councilman Conley's conduct was disrespectful and frankly childish. With respect to the newspaper, I'll also reference the recent League of Women Voters. We had every single candidate in Wood County at a forum just the other night. The Parkersburg News did not show up. WTAP came in about 2/3 of the way through the meeting. You know, I don't much respect it, and they're not here tonight. So,
Yeah, I saw that.
with respect to this public forum and the information and everything that's been in some of the, and I wish Councilman Conley was here tonight because I expected him to make some comments tonight, and I was prepared to discuss this with him. But I was very disappointed in his behavior at that meeting. He's a leader in our community, and just because he didn't get his way, he stormed out. I mean, are you kidding me? That's my comment.
Well, and he actually didn't storm out. He stayed long enough to ask questions, and then he left. But, the fact of the matter is,
that was my
we did it in the proper format, and that's what we were required to do. So I'm happy with the way that segment of it went. Yes, I would like to have had a larger crowd, but, that's the issue. Some people show up, but at any rate, we did everything we were asked to do, Henry.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
And I will just say one more thing. I continue to be surprised that nobody approaches me as a liaison to the Manville project, and I will sit down with them in the repository, and we can go through all the way back to Triad and all the way through the project, and I'll explain to anybody anything they want to understand. And if there's a question that I can't answer, again, Mr. Rebar, Mr. Hancock are both available, as was noted in the meeting. We did not expect Mr. Hancock not to be there. I mean, we kind of thought he was going to be there, but he advised us they did that to save costs because it would have cost us about 18 hours of his time at $135 an hour. And so he said, I'm available to answer any questions, any follow-up questions. And so that, that was his response. Again, we thought he was going to be there, quite frankly, and he wasn't. But when I texted him, that was his response to me.
Okay.
And nobody asked him. I mean, he knew about the meeting. I guess nobody really thought to ask him, are you going to be there? We just assumed, and you know what happens when you assume.
Yeah, okay.
Well, his boss called me the next morning and apologized. He said it was their practice to be there at these meetings. One of the issues that was brought up was that there was some concern about information that Triad had. So I personally called the CFO of Triad Engineering and asked them what this missing information was. And he checked with the field operatives, and he called back, we have every piece of information there is that Triad has, and every piece of that information is in the repository. There is nothing else. That's it. And so there's no mysterious reports. There's nothing. Every bit of it is public knowledge. So, at any rate, Henry, thank you for your question.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you.
I'd like to call to order this regular session of the Vienna City Council for October the 25th, 2018. Let the record reflect that I've taken roll, that all members of council are present, with the exception of Mr. Conley. Having a quorum, we will proceed. The minutes from the regular council meeting on October the 11th, 2018 have been printed, posted, and circulated. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If there are no objections, then the minutes will stand approved as posted. The report of the treasurer will be given at the next regular council session. So we'll move on. We have no unfinished business this evening. And on our agenda for new business, Linda Kern is with us this evening, and Linda is going to give us an update on the senior center and all of the events that are planned for the next few months.
Thank you very much, Mayor, for having me tonight, and thank you, everyone, for coming. You know, I just really want to let all of you know, and you are all welcome. We have a great, let me begin by the Senior Center. We have a great thing going on over there. You know, a lot of senior centers are failing in our area, and you hear about all the negative. Well, I want you to hear about the positive. I have people come up to me every day that live alone that say, if I didn't have here to go to be happy and healthy, I just don't even know where I would be. I have to the point where they have me in tears. You've saved my life. You give me purpose. It's just wonderful. We have everything for you. We have chair yoga. We have chair volleyball. We have pickleball. I'll even teach you myself. We have everything you could possibly ever want to do. And we do it because the mayor and council believed in us, and they allowed me to build this wonderful place for everyone. And you know what? It's a great place to come. So I invite you all, please. I think we're kind of all seniors here now, and you all will be seniors someday, and I hope we'll have a great place for you. I always carry schedules with me. I'd be happy to talk to anybody. I want you to know we are embarking on movie night every third Friday of the month. I show great movies. We have snacks. It's great community. And we've been filling the place up. It's really awesome. We have a wonderful time. You know about our luncheons every second Friday. AARP is the first Friday of every month. We've got billiards upstairs. I teach people how to use the exercise machines. We have so much going on down there, and everybody is happy and healthy. So I invite all of you to please come. I know we're all seniors in this room. Oh, Adam, not you. You will someday, though. We'll have a place for you. Great. I also would like to talk about, I want to talk about 2019. Oh, I want to tell you one more thing about our senior center. I try to manage 4 trips a year. I know seniors are on a fixed income. I'm very conscious of the fact that I keep the prices down so everybody can afford to go. We have a Valley Gem trip on the Valley Gem down the river. This year we're going through the locks. It's going to be a 3-hour boat ride. Come join us in May. We go to Amish country. Next year we're going to go to the Wilds, and we're going to go to Tiger Lake and take a boat ride. So again, I invite you to always come. The slips are always available on every table in the senior center. You can call me at any time. I will answer your questions and take good care of you. So I invite you to all do all of that too. How fun. Someday when I retire, this is exactly what I'm going to do. So I want to talk to you too about the events. You know, we have had phenomenal success this year. We're doubling numbers. We're getting people involved. And I am proud to say, other than other cities and everything, thank you again, Council and Mayor, for believing in me to create these wonderful things for people to do. Because you know what? Do you know I have mothers, fathers, babies that are playing in that foam during Vienna Family Fun weekends? That was created by me. I don't know any other town that does stuff like that for their community. But I got to tell you something. I had mothers and fathers say they can't afford to take their kids to movies. Thank you for showing these movies on the firehouse and doing these things. My kids would never have this opportunity to ever play in the foam and be with other kids their age. We also take care of our teenagers around here too. I like to have dance type things for them. And thank you, Council and Mayor. We do this all for the community for free. I just think it's a wonderful thing to give back to our community. I just think this is what this is all about. And what I'm most happy about, we've got things for teenagers and young children. We've got sports for the kids. We've got activities for the kids. We have all this to do. What other community has what we have? And I am really proud of that, very proud. And you all should be very proud because you're making a difference in every family and every senior's life. Now I'd just like to tell you a little bit about the events for 2019. I really think we're going to have a great year. We're going to have Shredding Day, and I've already gotten, I can't tell you how many phone calls. Let me tell you, Shredding Day, I always have 11 to 3 on the day before Mother's Day, which this year is going to be May 11th. Good way to remember. You know, we have a lot of people that have dogs, so I love to have dog events because people love to come show their dogs off. So currently, this coming Saturday, trick or treat for dogs from 1 to 3 at our great dog parks. Who else has this great stuff in their community? We do. That's why Vienna is the best place to live, and I hope you all will come and take me up on all these fun activities. But we have Vienna Family Fun Weekends coming next year. We have movie at the pool. We have all those senior trips coming. We have all these activities at the senior center. So please join us. We have, let's put it this way, I have about 25 events scheduled. Very aggressive schedule, but we're good at it. May through December, I always have them up here for you to see. And I want to tell you what we're going into right now. This is holidays coming up. You've heard about it. Happy holidays. That's what we call our event. It wasn't created by me. The mayor just asked me to resurrect it all. But it is the holidays pageants. Those kids serve this community all year long. Nobody else's pageant has kids helping seniors and young people in the community. So that's a very important thing. We also have the parade, which will be Saturday, December 1st at 11 o'clock on Grand Central. And don't forget about tree lighting. It'll be Tuesday night, 6:30, over at the community building parking lot. All the Jackson kids come and sing, Neil, Vienna, and Greenmont, and they all come and sing and kind of get you in the Christmas mood. And we light our 18-foot Christmas tree. So if you ever want to talk to me about any suggestions or anything we can build, even make even better, I'm always willing to listen. So again, I thank you all for doing everything you've allowed me to do because I want to continue this good work. Because I want to live in Vienna.
Please talk about the Veterans Day program.
Oh, yes. Veterans Day, we are going to have a wonderful program. We've got a wonderful speaker this year, Rick Kelly, and he will be coming, and Greg Smith, of course. But we always have the celebration cannot be done on a Sunday because Parkersburg has a parade, and they go downtown first and then come up to our great place. It will be at noon on Monday, November 12th. And we will have wonderful speakers. Carlin's Battery will be there to shoot off the cannon, which we dearly love. Jim Miracle and his gang. And we're just going to have a wonderful time. And just pray for good weather, because last year we sat out there going, but we'll sit close to one another. But please come to that too. Noon, November 12th, down at the Gold Star Memorial, Spencer's Landing. We all know where that is. Any other questions?
Linda, thank you. You worked tirelessly for that. And
thank you.
You know, obviously it's a shining star in our town and very well respected all over the state of West Virginia. So thank you,
Mayor. I really appreciate that.
And Mr. Rogers spends every day up there. As I've said before, he is the king. There is no doubt. So Bruce,
he makes sure I behave.
Thank you for all the work you put in.
One thing Linda didn't mention was on the Valley Gym we have lunch. And their prime rib is to die for.
We have the captain's dinner, you guys. It's awesome. Yeah, right. What a great group.
Linda, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I always have schedules and stuff up here. I'm always willing to share.
Well, that concludes our agenda for this evening, so now we'll move on to council comments. Anyone this evening?
Just one thing. I want to make one correction. When I mentioned that people hadn't approached me, Brenda Powell and I have had several conversations about Manville, so I do want to make that clear, that we've had good conversations about what's going on down there.
Okay. Bruce?
This past year when we put out bids for paving, we also added the paving from the Parks Department for paving of the path at McDonough Wildlife so that project wouldn't have to be bid separately, and I think Mr. Nonamaker asked a question about it before. That has been completed. If any of you have ever been up at the top of the hill at McDonough Wildlife, across from the ball fields off of Rosemar Road, there's a walking path. It's the 3rd mile. It is fantastic. They did a very good job at it. There is 2 picnic shelters, Shelter A and Shelter B there. Shelter B is now currently being, I'd say, renovated by a Scout Eagle program. They've redone the tables and painted a lot of the inside. There's a restroom up there, and it is a fantastic place to go walking. And there's been, at different times, numerous weddings also held up there in that area. It's very beautiful, very peaceful. And if you haven't had a chance to go up there and park, it's fantastic. Plus the trails, we're going to be trying to work on some of the trails this summer. So improve some of that area over there. Linda and Steve Black have been working on new signs over there. Some of the old signs was very difficult. And I don't know how well you get your orientation, but some places up there it's a little easy to get lost. So there's a lot of new signs being put up there, so it'll kind of help you find your way around. So that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mayor Honey.
Roger?
At our last council meeting, I had some rather harsh words in reference to a letter to the editor that Mr. Joe Brookover had written, and about my voting record on some certain items, which had me pretty well upset. He, in fact, printed a correction, stated he simply made an error. It was error on his part. It was a mistake. He did issue the correction. So, Joe, I want to publicly apologize for the comments and the way I said them. The fact that I called them lies. So I just, in reference to that, I want to publicly apologize for my particular language and the way I addressed that issue. At the close of your correction letter, you talked about keeping the citizens' well-being at heart, and I think that's very important, and I agree with that. And on those particular issues, that's why I voted the way I did, which I think is why it had me so not so happy. But I did want to state that tonight.
Okay. Anyone else?
Just real quick. Most of you folks don't know, or maybe you do, my other job is I'm a county prosecutor. Today my office secured a conviction involving an individual who was delivered heroin to a confidential informant on 3 different occasions. I bring that up to the city of Vienna because one of the officers involved was a Vienna police officer. He helped us secure a conviction, so I want to thank council, both as a prosecutor and as a citizen of Wood County, for having the foresight to fund our police department so that we can have an officer participate in the Parkersburg Violent Crimes and Narcotics Task Force, and for funding your police department to the level that we're able to do that and to have those officers. So thank you very much, council, and thank you folks who vote folks in to do that. So I appreciate it.
Okay. A few announcements this evening. Early voting started yesterday down at the Judge Black Annex. It will continue on clear through November the 3rd. We will have early voting here starting October the 30th, and it will go through November the 3rd also. With us this evening, Mr. Dietzler's on the ballot this year. I'm sure Harry would talk to you if you had questions for him. And also Mr. Leach is on the ballot this year. So I'm sure both of those fellows would answer any questions that you might have. Our next regular council meeting will be November the 8th at 7 p.m. This Saturday, as Linda mentioned, will be Halloween for dogs at 1 to 3 back in the park. Also on Saturday will be Drug Take Back Day. That will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. over at the fire station. As always, though, Mr. Pfeiffer will take any excess drugs that you want to get out of your house at any time. They have facilities to hold those and dispose of them, so you don't have to wait till the 27th. Just go to the police station and they will take care of it for you. Trick or treat will be Tuesday, October the 30th from 6 to 7:30, and that is in Vienna, Parkersburg, Williamstown, and Belpre. Marietta has a different day for that, but all four of the cities will be on Tuesday, October the 30th from 6 to 7:30. Just a housekeeping note for council. Kathy Smith put out a form in front of you all tonight. Would you please take 30 seconds to update that information? Mike, I'm sorry. I still had Mike Elam at, where you used to work, and I know that's not good anymore. So I sent it to your sportsman one, but at any rate, if you'll just take a second, and Bruce, I know you sent me an email back that you had changed providers. So if you would just take a second to do that so we can make sure we get any information out to you, it'll sure make Kathy's job and Teresa's job better at that. So anyway, 30 seconds and fill them out. All right? With that, meeting adjourned.
Go Mountaineers.
They're up 7 now.
Oh, I don't know how.
What's wrong with him?